Hello, welcome to the showcase. My name is Shaun Martin, if you didn't already know. I have 45 years experience in the field of entertainment. I'm here to share with you some of the greatest talents in Clubland by learning from each other. Would you please subscribe to my channel? This will enable me to produce more great content like this. Now I know you're all dying to know who the guest is today. I'm really honoured to have this guest. And it is Bryn.
Morning, Shaun. How are you?
It's morning in the UK. It's evening in Thailand, Bryn.
So, how's the weather been today?
To what? I've got the aircon on.
We have to talk about the weather just so we remain English, don't we?
We do.
It's a bit dull here today, but
a bit dull in all.
It's dull in all.
Great.
Yes.
Well, Bryn, you've been in some amazing acts, and you're a fantastic guitarist. You've got a real good sense of humour. You was taught by Chris, so was I, and we're going to go into it now. So, Bryn, tell us about how you got into the business.
Okay. So I was 14 years old, and my dad had bought me my first electric guitar, which was a Yamaha SG 3000S. It's a very expensive guitar. And I was playing at home. I wasn't involved in any bands. I'd played with Ben Lowry, knocking around. Our first band was called Citizen 10, but it never got off the ground. Ben went to join a band called Passion Spent. And my guitar was just sat in the corner. And I had a girlfriend, and I was spending all my time with my girlfriend. Till one day my dad came in, said, where's the case for the guitar? I'm selling it. And I was like, what? You guys said it's my guitar. He said, you're not using it. I'd paid for it. I could do with the money back. Your mum wants a new kitchen. So I was obviously distraught. I said, what's going on? He said, if you want to keep that guitar, put it in the case, come with me now. So we went off to Bryn's home, to this place. He'd already arranged all of this. And I auditioned for a country and western band. And I was 14. These people in my eyes were wrinklies, but they had a young girl singer. And I'm not joking, it was Stand By Your Man. And I knew the chords, they gave me the chords, and I knew the chords. And they were like, oh, fantastic, yeah, we love it, you're in. We're gigging this weekend. And I was, yeah, great. And on the car ride on the way home, I was so distraught. I was like, I can't believe I'm in a fecking wrinklies band. But I needed to keep the guitar. And on the way home, my dad said, oh, let's just pop in Shoulder of Mutton. They have some good bands on. So we went in there, and there was this 80s band on. They were called Cosmetics. And I was like, these are amazing, synthesizers, brilliant. They were all quite young guys. They were jumping around on stage. The singer was a bit of a nutcase. And I was saying to my dad, this is the sort of band I want to be in, Dad, not a bloody country and western outfit. And he said, oh, when they come off stage, just go and ask them when they're playing again. We'll watch them again. And I ran up when they came off, and I said to the singer, who was called Keith, oh, you guys are amazing. When are you playing again? And he said, oh, we don't know. We're looking for a guitarist. And I was like, me. Now, to this day, Shaun, I still don't know whether my dad had engineered all of that. But that's how I ended up in my first band, Cosmetics. It was just before Christmas on my 15th birthday. So I was I'd performed gigs at 14 while I was still at school. Playing in clubs and pubs that I wasn't even old enough to buy a drink in, which was like bizarre. And it was that case for the next couple of years. So Cosmetics was my first band.
And you actually had white hair.
I did. Billy Idol hair, yes.
You look like Billy Idol, yeah.
That was my kind of inspiration, thrown in with a bit of Duran Duran.
Yeah, is that where the white boots come in?
It was boxing boots, and I lived and died in boxing boots. Yeah, I love the boxing boots. I still have a pair now, but I don't get to wear them that often.
Well, that picture with your guitar and your boots and your white hair is on the beginning and the end, so people can see it. So you move.
That is the guitar as well that my mum and dad had a massive argument over, because my mum wanted a kitchen, and it was a few years before she got the kitchen, but okay. I kept my guitar, so
cool.
Bonus.
So you moved on from Cosmetics into what?
So from Cosmetics, do you remember a band called the Muff Divers?
Yeah, they always went down well.
So the Muff Divers, I believe, became Room Service. I did Phil Tebbs was the guitarist stroke keyboard player. Now, Phil Tebbs was leaving, and I came in with another girl. The girl was playing keyboards. I can't for the life of me remember her name. But she and I came in as the guitarist and keyboard player. We rehearsed with them. We did 2 gigs, and then the band folded. So I was without a band. So that was short-lived. We played at the Grapes. We did about 2 gigs at the Grapes.
That was a great
Phil Orton,
venue, wasn't it?
Cole Smith, Mervyn on bass,
My God,
Phil Orton on drums.
what a lineup.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, but it didn't last long. So I was without a band for a few months. When I was at the gym one day and my dad had rung me at the gym. Funnily enough, he said, "Where are you?" This was before mobiles. I said, "I'm at the gym." "You rang me at the gym. So you need to get your arse home quick." And "What is it?" He said, "Just get your arse home quick." And I thought, something bad's happened. Got home, went in the living room, and all of the outfit were there. Yeah, so the outfit, that was Dave Wilkie, Ralph Klukas, Paul Milner, Gavin Carey, and I'd been slying off college on a Tuesday night to go and watch them at Shoulder of Mutton because I thought they were great. So I got to know them all. And I walked in, and he was like, "What's going on?" I said, "We're not messing about. We need a guitarist. We want you in." I was like, "Bloody hell, of course I'm in, of course I'm in." "When's our first gig?" He said, "Oh, this weekend we're playing at Rooftop Gardens."
In Wakefield.
Wakefield. It was amazing. I remember walking out on stage and just a sea of heads and, an atmosphere, palpable buzz. Everybody was waiting and the heat from everybody. And I remember looking at everybody. My eyes must have been popping out my head. And it was click, 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 and they were in, and I was still gobsmacked. It took me a few seconds to think, "Oh shit, I should have been in there." Yeah, so I was with the outfit for a good few years, and we did some recording work. I don't know if you know Paul Duquesne. He came to see us do original material at the ferry boat, and he came one day and said, "Have you got a demo tape? I work for the Disco Mix Club. I'd really like to get your music to my boss." And we did so. And we were a bit blasé. We thought, probably nothing's going to happen. But Paul Duquesne came back and said, "My boss is really keen. He wants to get you down to London to make a single." So we went to London. Everything paid for. We spent it. I think it was Berkshire. The guy who owned the recording studio, the Disco Mix Club, was the old Radio Luxembourg DJ, and I can't remember his name at the moment. But anyway, he was also the inventor of Metal Mickey. So Metal Mickey was in the cupboard in the recording studio. Anyway, long story short, we recorded the single. He said, "What happens now?" I said, "You go back to Hull. I'm going to approach some record companies." And we didn't hear anything for about 3 months. So we're still carrying on as the outfit doing the club work, but still working on original material. When after about 3 months, Paul Duquesne came back and said, "Have you got enough material for an album?" We said, "Yeah." "So we want you back down again. We want you to make an album." We went down for a week this time and recorded all of our material. And by this time, we hadn't had to spend a penny. The recording time, food, accommodation, anything we wanted. I mean, cigarettes, drinks, while we were there, it was all thrown in. So we began to take it seriously then. We thought, this guy's not messing around. So it was a similar story. Go back, but the owner, I will remember his name in the course of this conversation, I'm sure I will. He came in and met us all, and he said, "Guys, this is amazing stuff. This is amazing work. You're going to be famous. You're going to be on top of the pops next week. If you've got day jobs, lads, sack them off because you're going to be great." So then we came back to Hull, absolutely buzzing, and absolutely nothing happened with it. We didn't hear anything. We did get a letter from the Disco Mix Club and Paul Duquesne that said, "Have faith, guys. It isn't a smooth process. We've got you a deal with Arista Records, but he was called Paul as well. His surname will come back to me. He wants a better deal for you." But nothing happened with it. We'd even done photo shoots for the album cover and everything. Many, many years down the line, I was telling this story and they said, "Oh, well, record companies do have to be seen to be making a loss." So we don't like to think we were just written off as a tax dodge, but it was a great experience nonetheless.
Yeah, I understand. Well, sadly, Dave Wilkie is no longer with us. Rest in peace. He was an absolutely brilliant guy.
Yeah.
A million. Great guitarist as well.
Great guitarist, yeah.
Paul Milner.
He's still around. Ralph Clucas isn't around.
Sadly, Ralph's not with us. He passed away far too early. Very
Same
sad.
as Dave, yeah.
Very, very sad. So you moved on from the outfit to...
Yes, from the outfit. The outfit folded because Dave wanted to do a duo with a chap called Brad. I'm sure you remember Brad. And it was Ralph Wilke's idea to try and get China Garden back together.
Oh.
Obviously not the original China Garden, but he did so. So we got Chris Norfolk involved. It was Ralph Wilke, it was myself, Ben Lowry on bass for a short time, and a keyboard player called Steve Brown. And we got China Garden 2 going again. Few lineup changes. Ralph Clucas ended up coming back, and we had Rich Wilke then on keyboards. So there was 2 Wilkes in the band, and so that was China Garden 2. We did some good stuff. Did some abroad work. We played all the German military bases. We went to Zurich. We went to Switzerland. It was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember them days. China Garden original was awesome, wasn't it? Was you in it when I came down to London with you? I don't think you was.
Was that the
original chat?
No, not the.
It wasn't.
If you're talking Dave Wilke and Paul Milner still being in the band, that was before me.
That was awesome. I talked about that with Chris. So from that, was it Housequake next?
No, it wasn't. So during my time in China Garden, I met a few of the bands on the circuit. The Gents were one of them.
Yeah.
Now, Ben Lowry actually had an audition with the Gents because they were moving. The Gents were splitting up. The 3 of the guys in the Gents, so Glyn and the 2 Steves, Chambers and Kendall, were forming another band on their own, while Martin Burton, the singer, was setting up something called Lip Sync. So Ben said to me this day, "Are you doing anything? I've got an audition with the Gents." I thought, well, I'll come down with you. And we got to this rehearsal room in Doncaster. I already knew the guys. I'd seen them a few times, and they'd seen China Garden as well. So it was, "Hey, how are you doing?" I'm just hanging out with Ben. And they said, "Oh, actually, there's a few songs we know you know. Do you mind just playing guitar?" Because Chamber was learning sax at the time, and he wanted to play sax to it. So it turned out that I ended up joining with Ben, but I can't remember for what reason Ben didn't come on board. I can't remember. So I joined the men's club.
Wow.
And the men's club were going for about 3 years. Or let's say my time with them was about 3 or 4 years. And behind that, Housequake were becoming quite prominent. Ben ended up in Housequake, playing sax in Housequake. And then I saw Housequake and I thought, these guys are, the comedy aspect, it was 18 rated. It was it wouldn't get away with that stuff today. No way. But every time I had chance to see Housequake, I did so. And they offered me a job. So I actually moved to Doncaster. I call it my previous life. I was engaged. I had a house in Doncaster, but I joined Housequake. So after a few years, I moved back to Hull, but stayed with Housequake, and that was probably my longest tenure in any band.
Wow. Was you the 5th YMCA then?
I was. I will have been the 5th YMCA, although you're probably aware that all the road crew used to get up on stage dressed up as the Thriller Monsters or what have you. So we'd even get friends coming away with us for the night to watch the band, and we'd get them up on stage. So that was, I want to say, from about 89 to 2009, a long stint.
You was the body of, you had the 7-pack, didn't you?
Those days are long gone, Shaun. I need to get back to the gym.
Tell me about it.
Some amazing work with Housequake. We did, the highlight was probably playing Israel, Eilat, a place called Eilat. And we did it for, I want to say, about 5-6 years every summer, whether it was a 4-week, 5-week, or a 6-week stint. And that was just amazing. What an amazing time.
I can probably say some of my best times was coming to watch Housequake. I used to come with you in the van and...
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It was just laughter after laughter after laughter. Even in the van, going to gigs. It was the tape around the eyes while you're driving and the crazy stuff we did then. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, we had some good laughs. Talking about the driving, just a couple of quick ones. I remember once the van wasn't insured, and
typical.
we got pulled up.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who was driving, but they jumped in the back and we all pretended to be asleep. So when the police came to the door, there was nobody in the driving seat. I don't know what happened. I don't know. We got out with that one. And then another time, Dave was absolutely knackered. It was a really long stint, and it must have been 4 a.m. It was getting light. And he'd said to the roadie, I think it was Jason Start at the time, look, I just need to shut my eyes for a few minutes. I'm going to keep my foot on the pedal, but you just steer for me, will you? There's no traffic about. So Wilkie folded his arms and he's got his head on the glass with his eyes closed. And Jason Start with his fag in his mouth, he's steering the van. And a police car and sees Dave asleep on the window. Obviously, by the time the lights had gone on, David pulled up and just denied everything.
Was you in the band when we went to Champers in Barry and Finesse?
Yes.
My God, some great coming back, stopped on the motorway surrounded by police.
Yep.
I was driving the van, Bryn. I had to stand up on the brakes; they wouldn't stop. Crazy days.
Crazy, hazy days. There's a song in there.
Yeah. Bryn, you moved on then with Housequake.
Chris Chappie and myself set up with the other three.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of play on the history of Housequake, because everybody would speak to about Housequake, they would always say, "Oh, aren't you all brothers? That 3 of your brothers? Oh, that's them 3. Those 3 are brothers." But Chris decided that the other 3, because we'd always say, "We're the other 3."
Oh, got you.
Them 3 are the Wilkies. We're the other 3. So we set up the other 3, and after a period, Chappie left, so we became the other 2. And while we were doing the other 2, I had to have throat surgery. I've had it twice now for nodules. So while I had to be off I had voice rest for about 3 months. And during that time, Chris had met up with Mike Harrison. He was on the he was an X Factor finalist. Amazing voice. He's now got his own singing school, and he's the X Factor. Although he didn't win, he didn't get a turnaround. He did so well, and he's doing what he loves doing. So it's a really nice story. But he came and helped Chris, and he was a solo singer. So they were duoing as the other 2, and Mike just dropped straight in. He was a really good guy, amazing vocalist. And when it was getting ready for me to come back, Chris had said, "Mike's not really enjoying solo work. How about, we bring him on board and become the other 3 again?" So we did, and it was great. But we did have a name change. We went from the other 3 to BPM. But a lot of people in the clubs we were doing at the time said, "Does it stand for blood pressure monitor?" I said, "No." And to this day, we don't know what we used to say. It's Barry, Phil, and Martin.
Yeah, it don't matter, does it? What you say?
No,
acronyms don't matter.
No.
So, wow, what a! I'm sure the viewers listening to this are going to be intrigued, because a lot of people who know you, Bryn, don't know probably half the stuff that you've been in. So it's very interesting. So let's move to now, because I don't want to keep this video too long.
Sure.
I know you're an expert in IT. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very expert, and so you're kind of like got your own business.
I have. I worked at the one point for about the previous 10 years. I've been in my own business now for a year. While I was at the one point as well, I joined, after BPM, I joined the Skylarks.
Okay.
I did an acoustic duo called the Merrymen, and I joined an 80s act called the Manic Mondays.
God.
So I was in 3 acts for the last three years. But yes, I set up my tech company, and basically I do everything that I did at the one point, but I'm doing it for myself. So that's IT, telecoms, mobiles. I call it all the dull and grey stuff, because when you talk to somebody about IT, they think, "Oh, bloody hell, not another techie nerd." But yes, I'm a nerd, I'm a geek, but I'm a lot happier on my own business. I'm a lot happier. I couldn't cope with that work. It was intense. I learned a lot, and some great people there. But I'm not the sort of person. I don't know. It didn't suit me. Somebody said to me, "You need to get your mojo back," and that struck a chord with me. So yeah, I need. And when I think about when I had my mojo, it was when I was playing. So at the moment, as you know, I'm with Rapture now.
Yeah,
we're playing more. I've had to ditch the other 3 bands because.
Well, I was to close this podcast, Bryn. I've seen Rapture, but before you joined, and I was blown away by the entertainment value. It reminded me a bit like Housequake. It had that feel about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, as Simon is, he kind of like jumps in the order. Where's Simon? He's on the table at the back and they're all dancing. Where did I get the bloody energy from? It made me tired. And then when I heard you was in it, I got a shock. I thought, my God, I never thought Bryn would want to be travelling up and down the country in a van again.
Well, the thing is, from my past experience, the agent would have us up in Scotland and then down to New Cornwall, then across Norfolk and then up to Wales. The agent, LD agency, they actually do things in a really good way. So if we go down south and do the holiday camps, we're going, you know, never more than an hour. So we'll might have a trek down south, but then 12, 14 night run, but we're going only 1 hour and then working our way back up. It's really well thought out and it works really well. And obviously the van's comfier and you have more mod cons than we did back in those days.
My God. Well, Bryn, I think you're probably an ace member for them because you're a character in your own way. You're quiet out of the band, but in the band, you're a bit of a monster.
Yeah, that's due to this fella.
Alan Eccles.
We do. You're right.
Yeah, you forget the plaster's there. Yeah, that's right.
These were my dad's glasses. I don't know if you know, but my mum and dad allegedly were Jack Duckworth and Deirdre Barlow. Not a lot of people know that.
Not a lot of people know that. Fantastic. Yeah.
So if you see the glasses, it's Alan. This is me, but I only get Alan to and from the gigs. You know, just needs dropping off.
Well, let me say to the viewers, it's been an absolute pleasure having Bryn on here. And, you know, I've been part of his career along the line with all been friends. I wish him ever so much success in your IT venture because I know you'll do it and you've got yourself to blame, nobody else.
That's right.
If you don't succeed. And I can't say anything better than Rapture's one of the best party bands around. There's no such so being part of that as well is absolutely great, and hope it doesn't interfere with your family because it's a long time away. And you know, I hope at some point, I've already had a podcast with Simon, so you can have a look at that. There's a few bloopers in there, but as you can imagine, even I said you played at John Brown's wedding. Well, it wasn't his wedding, it was his 40th. He soon pulled me up on that, but I'm correcting it now. So, Bryn, what would one word to advise the viewers, anybody wanting to get in this business, what would you say?
One word.
Well, sorry, a sentence then.
I would say my son's a musician now,
Wow.
and my wife is a bit worried about the path he wants to go down. The thing is, he might not be a millionaire. I'm no millionaire, but the thing is, I've loved every aspect of being in it. But sometimes the travel's been a bit long, you know. But it's a great life. It's the best. Performing is just the best feeling in the world, you know, being on stage, and especially when the crowd are into it. You know, it's just the best feeling. It's the best life. It's the best job in the world.
You're absolutely right, Bryn. I've been there myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not as good as you, but I've had a great time and still write music with Chris Brown, as you know. I'll talk about that in a minute. So on behalf of the viewers, please subscribe to my channel. You'll see more people like Bryn on here. I'd like to say a great opportunity having Bryn on here. Thank you very much, Bryn.
Oh, thank you very much, Shaun. So it's bye from me, and it's bye from Alan.